Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. Hey, y'all, everybody out there in the wide world. Lisa Kipps-Brown, your host for Adaptable Entrepreneurs. This has been one of those weeks, and I can barely pronounce words anymore. But I'm welcoming Matt Deutschman to the show tonight, and he is the owner of Doubletake Promotional Marketing. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So instead of me trying to explain what you do, I want you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for having me join you tonight. I was really
You're
looking forward to
welcome.
this, and it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, my company is Doubletake Promotional Marketing. We do promotional products and branded merchandise. Custom imprinted swag. So
Yeah.
it's all fancy ways of saying we put logos on anything. So, our mission is to work with clients to truly understand their brand, their target market, how best to reach their target market, and the full scope of, whatever project is at hand so that we can come up with the ideas for the most effective products for our clients' needs.
I think that is great because the average business, myself included, when we want to order something, we like go look online or whatever, and we see what everybody else has. And so you feel like it doesn't really get you anywhere,
Yeah.
or you feel like people are sick of, the same old thing, the flash drives and stuff. So I think it's great that you work directly with your clients to help them figure out what they should give, that's a good reflection on them.
Sure. Yeah. What we've found is that the big value add that we provide for our clients is the time savings because of exactly what you just mentioned. How are you're trying to run your business. How are you to know all the various things that are out there available? I mean, we're steeped in it day in, day. That we're experts in that field. So we take that scouring process away from our clients and, handle that labor for them.
Well, and the thing that you did because of COVID, I think is so cool. Your Doubletake University.
Yeah, and that's
I loved it because it showed a great adaptation to an unexpected situation.
Well, I appreciate that. It's so what it is actually it was like an adaptation of an adaptation almost.
Okay.
One of the main target markets that we work with most extensively is higher ed. We work with a lot of colleges and universities. We have three main target markets that we work with, and that's one of them. And so we created, for our own marketing purposes, we created a mock university, Doubletake University.
Okay, gotcha.
With our mascot is the Doubletake Defenders. So we're the defenders of your brand standards. And so that's, we created that concept as a way to just develop marketing materials to showcase to our higher ed clients. Then COVID hit and we adapted the Doubletake Defenders concept to also defending against germs. And what we were seeing and what we were doing a lot of, both for our higher ed clients and for other clients, is PPE, personal protective equipment. So we've done a lot of branded face masks and hand sanitizers and touch gadgets and all sorts of things that protect against germs. So we created an entire website just targeted about that called doubletakedefenders.com. And that's basically a build your own PPE kit tool.
That's so cool.
For our clients.
The very first part of it, where you already did Doubletake University,
right?
Brilliant, because you basically developed a marketing tool that communicated directly with your target market and helped communicate the benefit that y'all bring without you even having to tell them. They could go to it and look at it. So that's great. And then when you did the packages, the PPE packages, that's perfect too, because I know so many people, they can't be in school now and they're feeling so alone. And so they can just go pick out their own packs, put things together and order it right from there.
Yeah, and it really stemmed from a demand that we were seeing over the summer. We were very busy with doing a lot of PPE kits for our higher ed clients as they were preparing to reopen in the fall with thousands of students and staff coming back. A lot of colleges actually had to, in order to be able to be authorized to reopen, they had to submit their reopening plans to state and local governments, and those plans had to include some sort of plan for how they were going to distribute PPE to the population on campus.
So a big lesson for y'all to take from that on this is understand your market, understand not only what they like and want, but understand what their needs are.
Sure.
Deeper than your actual product itself, understand what their operational needs are. So since you understood the operational needs, you were able to pivot really quickly and develop this thing for them. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's understanding. And that's why I say we work with 3 specific target markets. I talked about higher ed. We also work with like finance and professional services, and then advertising and marketing agencies. And those are the 3. We don't stray very far from those 3, and because we want to be able to be experts to serve those particular types of clients.
So the clients who aren't universities, like the clients, like let's say the advertising and marketing, what's the size of your average client? Are they really small, or are they large, or everything in between?
For higher ed, it really runs the gamut from, from small to mid-market. And then we have some, larger, well-known nationwide universities. With advertising and marketing agencies, it really runs the gamut. It could be, literally mom and pop. We have clients that are, family-run, 2-person, father, son, mother, son agencies, all the way up to some of the largest, marketing and PR and advertising agencies where we work with individual account executives to help with the brand management of their accounts.
Out of curiosity for myself,
sure.
What kind of things are the advertising and marketing firms using now or buying now, or what's popular?
So with that vertical, we are typically helping those agencies service their clientele. So
gotcha.
So it could really, I mean, that's what, and that's what I love about what we do, is that every client is different. Every project is different. At the end of the day, we're product agnostic. We're a product company, but we're a marketing strategy company first. We have to understand the strategy behind it. We don't care what product is used as long as it's going to be the most effective for the needs. And so we do the back end work to understand, then we, supply the product that's going to be the best fit.
I love that. And you are a partner with the advertising and marketing agency.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you're their partner. That's really cool. I actually have an idea for a client. You're not an advertising and marketing firm, but remind me after this. I have an idea for a client that might be able to use you. I want you to tell us some about your background, though, because I know your family is in the promotional products business. They've been in it for decades, right?
Yeah, my for better or for worse, my great grandfather Paul and my grandfather Maynard started the Paul May Company in 1935.
Oh my God!
They had a factory in New York City. They were manufacturing vinyl office supplies and like desk folders and card cases, wallets, things like that, all for the promotional industry, custom imprinted. And my dad ran the company for 30 plus years. I worked for my dad for about a year, which so I hated it, not because I was working with my dad. I actually loved working with my dad. What I hated was the being on that side of the industry, and just the work that I was doing was it was a desk job. I was sitting in an office all day doing paperwork.
Manufacturing end.
We were the office arm of the factory, basically.
Okay.
So I was sitting in my dad's office one day, looking out the window, and there was a strip mall next door with about 5 or 6 stores. And I said to my dad, I bet I could make at least one sale talking to the owners of those stores. And he said, all right, we'll give it a shot. And the way the industry is set up, there are suppliers, which my family was, and I'm a distributor now.
Right.
And then you have the stores, right? The end users. Suppliers don't sell direct; they only sell through distributors.
Yeah.
So my dad set me up with a friend of his who was a longtime client of his and a distributor in the industry. And I started working with this gentleman as a part-time sales rep, straight commission. And that was my idea, was driving around my hometown of New York, knocking on doors of businesses to try to make sales. And
And I
that's
bet you were good at it, right?
no, not at all. As a matter of fact, no, it was a complete disaster, complete waste of time. Nobody wants to talk to you when you're walking in off the street.
Oh, yeah,
Even if you do get the right person, you know, you're hard pressed to talk to the right person, and no one wants to talk to you anyway. So,
yeah.
where it really started to click for me was when I started. Someone recommended this thing called networking, which I had never heard of and never knew anything about. But when I, started, the formalized networking organizations that are out there, that's where it really clicked. When I saw that, you have to add value to others first, and you have to have more to offer than just the products and services that you're selling. And got more immersed in the business community, and that's where I started to see some success.
You joined some of the business networking groups, or whatever, where you go like once a week or whatever, and everybody brings leads and different things like that. Is that the kind of group you were part of?
The first one that I was exposed to was is called BNI.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, so that's a weekly group, and BNI. It's funny, if you talk to people, you'll get different opinions on BNI from different people you talk to. I think it gets a bad rap a lot of time because of the conception that you're forced to bring a certain amount of leads to the table, so you wind up getting a lot of bogus leads.
Yeah.
And I think if people misuse the system, then that's where that takes place. I've found BNI to be very beneficial to me, and I think I've added a lot of value to others through it. And that was what I was first exposed to, and for me, it just reshaped the philosophy of, this is a group of business owners who are really trying to give to others rather than just sell. And that's where it reshaped,
that's
for
great.
me, the concept of business.
So you work part-time with that other guy, and how long did it take for you to realize that you really were more attracted to that end? And how did your dad, how did he react, when you were like, okay, I want to go do my own thing?
Yeah. So while I worked for my dad, he was sort of in a transition period anyway, working towards selling his business. So it wasn't, it wasn't a difficult break of, oh, you're leaving the family business or anything like that. And I would say I never, as a kid growing up, I never felt as though my dad pushed me toward, following in his steps, running the family business. And I not that that's a good thing or a bad thing. It might have been, if things were different and we wound up working together for 20 years, that might've been fun too. So who knows? But, my dad was always very of the mindset of, he pushed me to find what I'm passionate about and go pursue it. And he encouraged me 100%. And so never in a million years would I have imagined that I'd wind up in this industry, but
that's so funny.
But here I am, not for any hard pushing from him.
And you grew up in New York City?
Suburbs of New York City. So Rockland County, New York. It's about 45 minutes outside.
You're still in that area?
No, about 5 years ago, my wife and I moved to Chicago,
that's
suburbs of Chicago. And so here we are. That's where
we live there now.
I'm sorry?
My son actually lives there now.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So what's something that's been like the most surprising to you about owning your own business? Because you were young when you started it, right? Like 24 or something?
Yeah, I was 23 when I started my business. I was living with my parents at the time and started my business I would roll out of bed, my little twin bed, and go over to my desk, which was the same desk I did my homework on when I was in high school, and actually the same desk my mom had when she was in grade school. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, that's where I started my business. I'd say the most surprising thing has been, to take it back to networking a little bit, is just the willingness of everyone around me, by and large, to want to help and to really be a champion for you. I think that, as a young business owner, as a young, entrepreneur, founder of a company, for the first several years, I was always the youngest person in the room wherever I went. So there was no shortage of people who wanted to give advice, but it was, but it was always like just meant with love and meant with true, passion to help. I've really found that, both in the New York market and in the Chicago market, where I've come to grow my professional network. Really been impressed by that.
I think too many people think of networking as I go somewhere, I give people my business card, they give me mine, or they give me theirs, and I have business cards and I wait for people to call me, and they don't think about it. It's getting to know people and developing personal relationships so that you do understand what each other needs, wants, whatever, and that you are able to just naturally help each other instead of, pushing yourself on somebody.
It's to go into a networking event with the mentality of, I'm going to see how many business cards I can hand out and see how many business cards I could acquire.
Yeah.
That's just, it's never going to work. It's never going to be effective. I approach networking. I don't care how big an event it is. Some people judge you had 80 people at your event. You had 400 people. You had 12 people. Who cares? Go and try to make one really, really good relationship.
Yes. If you can make one great relationship, that is a win.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you need 80 people there?
Really, if you have one great connection, that can open so many doors for you.
For sure. Yeah.
How many people do you have working for you now?
We're a team of 4. I have 2 full-time employees in addition to myself, and a part-time sales rep who works with us, and she's actually been with us since 2016. She was my first hire, and she's just had such an amazing impact on the growth of our company, from everything being inside my head outward, to actually codifying some of our systems and processes, and then expanding over the last few years.
That's great, and that really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't realize how much you're bogged down just because trying to do so many things yourself.
Yeah.
How did you grow your business? So when you got started, you learned the advantage of networking, and you learned what it's really like. How did you go about building it and finding new clients?
Well, it's networking. Just to go back to that concept again, and I didn't realize, it's one of those things like you don't go into it with an agenda. Oh, we're going to talk about networking, but it keeps coming back to that. That's something that I feel I met this woman who's absolutely brilliant about 6-7 years ago. Her name's Cynthia Greenewalt, and she taught me a lot about using networking as a component of business development. And I feel like anyone in a sales role, we have this sales funnel where prospects go into the top, or leads go into the top of the funnel, and they move through in whatever stages, and then out the bottom comes a client, right? Yeah. But then we have this other funnel that we don't really focus on, which is the referral source, or relationship funnel, where just people go into the top, and it's about developing relationships. And out the bottom, it doesn't have to be a client. It could be someone who just you really build rapport with, you really jive with, and they wind up referring you quite a bit of business. But if you focus on what actually makes that referral source funnel work well, then you can use that to feed your sales funnel a lot deeper down than just getting cold leads in the top.
Definitely. They'll come in further down the funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say, just developing relationships in a way that, is authentic but strategic, has been just an advantageous way for me to go about business development over the years.
Yeah. I always tell people, try to think of the kind of people who could be gatekeepers, for the types of clients that you need or that are good fit, but don't just go out and try to get to know them only because of that. You don't want people to feel used. You want to match up with the right types of people, but you want to match up with people that you would want to be friends with anyway, or would like to get to know anyway.
Absolutely. Well, again, it'll never work if you're not authentic about it. It'll never work. That that they smell your commission breath coming from a mile away, and like no, it'll never work if you're not authentic about it. So it's all about it's relationship building.
So, do you have any advice to other people aside from the being genuine? Do you have any like advice about building relationships, or any like in the early stages, anything that you might do to help people feel like they're getting to know you better? Or just talking and communicating, I guess, really.
I'd say, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Some of the more meaningful relationships, new relationships that I can remember building over the last year or so started with conversations that you may not have thought that topic would be. So here's an example.
Okay.
Justin Breen connected us.
Yeah, I was going to ask how you met Justin. Okay.
I met Justin Breen at a networking event. And I went to go say hello to someone that he happened to be talking to. I didn't know who he was. And so I wound up in a conversation with Justin. I still remember it was about a year ago that he and I met. And in our first, 5 minutes talking with one another, somehow we got into a discussion of prayer and belief in whether God exists and whether, and being in prayer about our businesses and that sort of thing. I remember him even saying like, wow, this is a bizarre conversation to be having right off the bat with somebody. And I was like, yeah, it really is. Right. But like that solidified our relationship, to move forward from there more so than if we had just had a kind of, hey, how do you do? Where are you from? What's your business kind of thing, Yeah. Superficial.
So that answered my question. How you met him. He's so cool. Yeah.
I love Justin. Yeah.
I really enjoyed having him on my show, and he's going to be in my book. And everybody out there, I keep telling y'all that I'm writing a book and I haven't told you that much about it. I'm dripping it out a little, but Matt is also going to be in the book.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. All right. I couldn't remember if I had asked you, but I'm telling you, you're going to be in it.
Love it. All right.
The book is called Disrupt Your Now, The Successful Entrepreneur's Guide to Reimagining Your Business and Life. And I figure this is a great time for that topic because so many people that own a business are like, one day, someday I'll do whatever. And the next thing they know, it's been, a year or 2, 5, 10, and they're still doing the same old thing and they're miserable in their business. And so, especially with COVID, people need to, hey, do it now. And that's one of the things I wanted to ask you. So how did you end up moving from New York to Chicago?
Well, I love the name of the book, by the way. So I mean, we've all had our now disrupted, like it or not. Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
My wife, and I, we both went to college at Northwestern University, which is, just outside Chicago in Evanston, Illinois.
Okay.
And that's where we met. We started dating after college when we both happened to be in New York after college. She's not from New York originally, so we were never heart set on staying there forever.
Yeah.
She works for a New York-based company, and about 3 weeks or so before our wedding in May of 2015. Her company offered her a great opportunity to be part of the launch of their new Chicago office that they were opening up.
Oh, nice.
And so we decided to give it a shot. We both had some connections here to friends from college. And that it was at that point that I was the main holdup on the decision to move. Because I had my network and my business and my family based in New York. But that was really when I looked at it. That was really when I started looking at my business as something that I could take beyond just myself. I could do from anywhere.
Yeah.
And to that point, I had created a job for myself. It wasn't a business.
Yeah.
But that was when I really started to focus and say, let's really look at this as a business and put some processes in place and take it to the next level.
And how old were you then?
29.
Okay. So you
20,
don't.
Oh no, I'm sorry. 20. What is it? 2015? Yeah, 29.
you'd owned it for like 6 years then, 5 or 6
Yeah,
years.
about 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And up until then, you basically looked at it as yourself going out doing it. And yeah.
Yeah. It was shortly after our wedding that we found out we were expecting our first child. So that was so it was at that point. I mean, so in the calendar 12 months from May 2015 to May 2016, we got married, moved, bought a house, and had a baby.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was.
Yeah.
And my 33rd anniversary is Saturday.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. I always laugh. I tell my husband, I was like, it's a wonder one of us isn't dead and the other one in jail by now. But yeah, bought a house. I quit my job. We got married, moved to another state, had a baby. And then about a year and a half after that, had another baby. And then my father-in-law was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and he moved in with us. And it was just like crazy, you know, but it's just, you know, you learn how strong you are, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So you really grew your business though, after you moved to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown in sales every year we've been in business. But it was when we found out we were having a baby that I decided, okay, I need to get serious about this.
Yeah.
At the time I was working 80-hour weeks. I was doing everything and I had no plan, no systems. Everything was in my mind. It was at that point that I decided, what's my priority in life? What's my reason for my business existing? And, you know, I made the decision. I kind of drew a line in the sand that what's the point of working for myself if I'm a slave to my business?
Yeah.
I want to create my business in such a way that it affords me the ability to spend as much time with my family as possible. So my son was born May 2016, and from then on, I hired my first employee September 2016, and I've spent at least 4 afternoons a week from 2 p.m. on with my kids every week since then. Yeah.
Well, and I'm not going to say you're lucky because you consciously did it, but it's great that you learned that lesson so early, because so many of us, myself included, take much, much longer to learn that lesson. And part of my problem was, you know, I was raising babies, caring for an Alzheimer's patient and working all at the same time. It's like, I never felt like I had the time to even sit down and think about why I was doing it. Like, you know, you're on a treadmill and you're going. And if you do take that time to sit down and reflect and really think about what you want and why you want it, and that's going to be something great for the book, because that's part of what this book is you can't know what you should do and how you should do it until you know what it is that you want to come out the other. Just like the funnels for sales, you don't know what to put in the top of your business unless you know what you want to come out of the bottom.
That's such a great way to put it. Yeah. And I mean, some people have called it, what, you know, find your why, or, you know, so, and that, and you say, I'm not lucky. I'm plenty lucky. And, you know, I am, I
realize a lot of us think, you know, it comes across and we're like, oh, whatever, I don't have time. So yeah, that's why I said, I don't want to say it's luck, because you did have to consciously make the decision.
It's been conscious. It's been a conscious decision, and it's an ongoing conscious decision. Any decision I make in my business has to come back to, like you just said, what's the purpose for the business? And if the decisions I'm making don't align with the purpose for the business, then it's not a good decision.
Yeah.
So,
now I have to show you something. My business coach, Steve Sims, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He wrote the book, Blue Fishing, The Art of Making Things Happen. And he always asks me, what's the point? You know, no matter what he'll just, okay, what's the point?
There's no gobbledygook in that statement, right?
I did this to put on my phone. It's my phone wallpaper. So every time I pick it up, I have Steve's mug shot with me. We were in Nashville, and I have to read, what's the point? So it's a constant reminder to me that no matter what I'm doing, you know, and it's the same thing that you're talking about, though. Why are you doing it? Because so many people, and myself included, for different periods of time, not now, but I mean, I've owned my business since 1996, so that's a long time. But so many people we just think about now, and we don't really take the time to set up those systems, or as you said, codify things. And it's hard sometimes to even, I think we get so deep in our own things, it's hard to even take a step back and think of what we even should turn into processes and codify.
Sure. And it's, that time never happens unless you schedule it in.
Exactly.
I mean, even, and it's not, this is not to say I have some sort of like perfect, seamless business, and it's never it's an ongoing challenge to maintain the work-life balance that that is the pinnacle of importance for me. It's an ongoing challenge, and and creating the systems and doing the planning and scheduling properly. I mean, the time, what always struck me was, day before vacation, you're always at your most productive, because you have a finite amount of time, you have things you need to get done, and you scramble through everything, and you're so productive, and you finish right on the dot, and you get everything done, and then you go on vacation, right? Or at least that's how it was for me. So I decided, what if I could, bottle that up and make every day the day before vacation, and treat my afternoons with my kids like vacation time. Now, it doesn't always work that way, but I strive for that. And I have to, that's my goal every day, is to go on vacation at 2 p.m. every day.
Well, and that's a really good point. I'm glad that you said that, because in that case, you found something that worked for you. A thought, you found that worked for you. And if you could frame it like that, then this will work for you. Somebody else might have a different way of framing it, but I love that you did that. I might have to steal that, because right. And the other thing is, when you're going on vacation, you're like, I don't want to have to come back to a bunch of stuff. Right. So not only do you tend to get done what you have to do, you usually tend to get done a little bit extra too.
Sure. Well, my wife and I used to do that too, even before we were married, before we had kids, when we were dating. We loved going camping. So we'd go camping, we'd turn off our phones, we'd go all weekend, and, and we'd say we're going on vacation. Like, we would say we're going on vacation, even when we were just doing something kind of like seemingly, like, mundane, going out to dinner and a movie for a night. Like, all right, we're going on vacation. We would use that terminology. And I think that it's, it just frames how you view the activity.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to steal that, because also you use the word vacation, you're automatically putting your mind in a different space, where if you're on vacation, you're expecting to not have to do all these things, and to not be thinking about all these things. Where if you just say, well, like me, we have a cabin in the mountains. If I go, well, I'm going to the mountains, that's different than saying I'm going on vacation in the mountains.
Vacation is not a place, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
So and again, like, none of this is perfect. I was telling you the situation I was dealing with earlier this week, when we were talking before this, with just project that was going awry because of some issues at one of our embroidery facilities. And these things happen, And
it was related to COVID, right?
Yes.
So and totally outside of your control. Yeah.
For sure. But, and that's when, you have to jump in and problem solve. And it's not a perfect foolproof system, but it's the planning and the setting that as the goal that is, for me, at least the important factor. And, just having that to look towards is the motivating factor for me.
I love that. Well, somewhere I had read, I don't know, I guess it was in that article on your website. I had read that you really like camping and stuff. And I have to say, I was really surprised, because, I'm from a rural area of Virginia. And so I'm like, somebody from New York City likes to camp?
Oh, you got to come to Rockland County, New York. I'm telling you, it's not New York City at all.
You're not in the city.
I grew up it's only like 45 minutes outside New York City. It's a very interesting place though. For a lot of reasons, but it's a rural suburb of of New York City. It's got a lot. I mean, it's within striking distance of New York City, but it's also got the small town vibe. Everybody knows everybody.
That's all.
And you know, I grew up, you know, there was a state park 5 minutes from my house. We used to go hiking, you know, all the time.
Yeah.
So that was.
And
I always enjoyed it.
That's cool. Do y'all take your kids a lot?
So I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old now, and last year we tried one time camping in the backyard, did not go well. We were back inside by 9 p.m.
Because of the baby.
Yeah. She decided it was not a good night to go to sleep.
Funny.
And then actually last year, I think it was both kids just screaming, you know, waking the neighbors. So then this year we tried it once in the backyard, again, did not go well, but we decided whatever, we're going anyway. We've been camping. So we went camping twice this summer/fall, and it actually went pretty well. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of work does your wife do?
My wife works in finance.
Okay.
She, and I'm extremely proud of her. She has been with her company for upwards of 11 years.
Wow.
No finance background, just an amazing people person.
So what does she do for the company?
She works for a wealth management firm that, and she started there, I think, as a temp answering phones.
Nice.
Then got hired full time in that capacity. She's been promoted 3 times, I think, since then, and she's really. I mean, I'm so impressed by her.
That's great.
She's just done an awesome job.
So, how has COVID affected y'all with working? Are you both working from home? And
I mean, my team is remote, and
they're remote anyway.
Yeah. My 2 full-time employees, one's in Rhode Island, one's in Ohio.
Yeah, you're like me.
And so I've been working from home for years. I love meeting with people in person. That's what I miss most. But but it hasn't really impacted us operationally so much. But my wife has been working from home. It's been nice having her around. I really, I'm really enjoying it. So
you're like me. It hasn't really affected my business. The only way it really affected my business was a lot of clients had to put things off. You know,
sure.
Financial worries or whatever. And I do have an office, but it's right next door to my house. So terrible commute. It's probably 50 yards away.
You can practice your 50-yard dash time.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm not even going there because I'm like, I don't need to go there. And I used to go there a lot, and I conference room and have meetings and just to get out of the house. But I like being around my cats and my dogs, and so I'm like, oh, if I can't have meetings anyway, I might as well be over here, But we live on a lake in a little town of 1,000 people. So our house is right here, and then right next door is the little bungalow that my office is in. But I used to have several people locally here who came into the office to work, but now everybody is remote, like Atlanta and Boston.
Gotcha.
And one thing that I think is good for small businesses, one thing I think that's been good for small businesses as a result of COVID is taking the stigma away from people who do work from home and away from companies who choose to operate like that. Because for so long, traditional businesses and traditional mindsets look down on people if they work from home, and it's like, oh, they're not a real business, And so it was hard for people who, kind of in the gig economy or whatever. And now for the first time ever, big companies are realizing, they're pretty smart to be doing this and not spending all this money on overhead that they didn't need. And so I think it's very interesting how many bigger companies are deciding that they're going to stick with it in some way or another, with at least part of their people.
I think so too. Yeah. And that's presenting new challenges and I think opportunities for my business in particular, especially right now. I mean, holiday season for us is typically our busiest season of the year. A lot of our clients do holiday gifts for their staff or for their clients or referral sources. And this year has been no different. We've been doing a lot of that, but the one logistical component that's been thrown on top is, where are the recipients of these gifts? How do you get the gifts into the recipient's hands? Where traditionally, if you're doing a staff gift for your company and you have 400 employees in such and such office, you have a bulk shipment that gets delivered to that office. You probably having some big celebration. This year we're doing a lot of programs where we're mailing gifts directly to people's homes.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah,
but but it's I agree with you. I think it's proving. I think that's one of the positive things that's coming out of this whole COVID situation is
and I love the good ideas. Love the good ideas that people are coming up with, like you for the PPE packs, and a really cool way of promoting them. And another person that I've met recently, he's going to be on the show soon, and he's going to be in the book. He's the president of a company that, because of COVID, they created a product that basically cleans the air in your own personal space, like a cubicle, 5-layer air filter system that they created because of COVID, and it only weighs like 5 pounds. So theoretically, even somebody like an auditor or something could take it with them, but it can be set somewhere, it can be hung on a cubicle or whatever. And they did it as a result of their customers, surveying their customers and finding out what are your concerns about COVID and what are your biggest problems. And then they use that to back into this product that they created. So it is interesting to see some of the new things that are coming out from it, the good ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's great innovation.
So tell everybody out there your website so they can go check you out and see what kind of products you have to offer.
Sure. Well, the PPE Kit website that we talked about is doubletakedefenders.com. Our main website is actually our tagline. So our company is Doubletake Promotional Marketing. Tagline is Make Them Look Twice. So it's makethemlooktwice.com. That's
I love that domain name.
Well, it's and the tagline is everything's in double. The tagline is it's a two-pronged meaning. It's I think the obvious is the products that we do for our clients will make their viewers look twice. But it's also it's an internal rallying cry for us. Every project we work on for a client, we want to show them something they've never seen before. So we want to make our own clients look twice every time we're working on a project.
Yeah, that's good. So it's a constant reminder for you and your staff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so thankful that you joined me tonight. I'm really glad that Justin introduced us.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you're going to be in my book, even though you didn't know it.
I can't wait to learn more about it. But great, I love the name and I love the concept. So,
Stick around here because after I end this, we'll talk for a minute. But
sounds good.
Thank you so much for joining me. Next week, y'all, I'm going to have the founder of Cyberlytica. And they work with the dark web, which I don't know if I even want to really talk to them. No, they're great people, but I'm like, I don't want to think about it. But they specialize in the dark web and in protecting you and your business from the dark web and everything from individuals to businesses. So that's going to be a really interesting conversation.
That's timely too. I heard, cybersecurity, cybercrime is
for sure
extremely on the rise, especially with people working from home.
Yeah. And he's a New Yorker also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, that's not Thursday evening. We're doing it earlier. I think we're doing it Tuesday morning. I'll put it on Facebook, though, y'all. You can find it. But I'm moving some things around for people because with the holidays and everything coming up, everybody's crazier. But thanks a lot for joining me, Matt. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Justin, for introducing us.
Yes, yes. And hey, I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. See y'all later. Bye.